The story begins in Germany, where a runaway cop killer, Areski, hides under the name Jory. He is invited to a drug job but is instantly set up by his teammates. He realizes he is no longer safe there and rushes home to get his go bag to take off, but he isn't fast enough. The goons rush in and a fight ensues. Areski comes out victorious, but quickly realizes the one who sent them was his former boss, who is now gunning for a new position as minister and wants to tie up loose ends. He realizes his family, whom he left in France for their own protection, might no longer be safe, so he burns his house in the woods in Germany and takes off back to France. Let's backtrack a bit to 2 years ago when Areski was recruited by Karas to work as a double agent for the German drug kingpins and the French police. In that time, he made a deal and promised Resch his loyalty. Commander Resch insisted that if ever the deal changed, Areski had to discard Karas by himself. This was exactly the reason Areski did what he did, but at the time of his death, Karas was in the car with his protege, Lino, who swore to hunt Areski down by all means necessary. That's when Areski bolted to Germany, slapped on the name Jory, and tried to vanish like smoke. 2 years later, Areski is back in France to take his wife Stella and son Thomas to safety, but his wife, Stella, begs him to turn himself in, but as a cop killer, he knows he will be killed, but there's no time for all that explanation. That's when a highly skilled assassin, Jory, shows up to take him out, but he escapes in a minivan and a hot car chase ensues. The car was a wreck, so he got on a tram, and so did the assassin. There they fought with so much skill and restraint, trying to keep the damage to a minimal, but it got out of hand and everyone abandoned ship for them, and Lino finally caught up with them and joined the fight, and they had a very engaging threesome. That's where Areski lost his go bag and passports and couldn't escape the city. Another car chase ensued with Areski on a bike, Lino in an Alpine, and Lino's girlfriend, Julia, in a cop car, joining the action. Areski put up a really good fight. The police wasn't able to catch him. In fact, Lino was in a near-death encounter, but his revenge mission was more than his scare of death. Finally, he lost track of Areski, and Julia continued the chase till she got to a secluded place where Areski cornered and disarmed her. Meanwhile, Jory had taken Areski's bag back to the Resch to prove his loyalty and commitment, but Resch's advisor Cole was worried that Jory knew too much and might become another case of Areski. So he warned Resch about falling into Jory's loyalty trap, which Resch accepted. Back in a secluded garage, the same place where Areski had taken the life of Karas 2 years ago, he was about to make a deal for the safety of his life and family. Julia was entrusted to deliver him back to the Germans to keep him safe while they reopen the case. It is very clear to everyone present that this is their last chance to capture Resch, and that nailing Resch before he becomes minister was the more pressing issue than Areski's arrest. So despite Julia's hesitation, she agrees to drive Areski herself to the pickup point the next day, while Areski stays handcuffed in the secret garage. Julia returns to town to enlist the help of Linya in delivering Areski safely to the Germans, as that would be justice for Karas. Lino agreed and worked all night, putting together a beast of a tow truck for the mission, and by morning, he was ready and the mission took off. Meanwhile, another deal was struck between Julia's supervisor and the soon-to-be Minister of Narcotic for the details of the route that will be taken for the delivery of Areski to the Germans. So, the journey that could have taken just a bit took forever with car chases, car collisions, and timely intervention by Lino, who swooped in with his yellow truck to save the day. Unfortunately, on getting to the pickup spot, the Germans had already been killed by Resch and his men. That's when Julia realized she had been played. Resch had almost gotten away with his plan of setting it up as a crime committed by the trio when Yuri, his loyal assassin, whom he had set up to be killed, showed up and took them all out swiftly, without any words. Amidst the chaos, Oreski tries to run away again with a car, but Lino chases after him with the beast machine and finally knocks him unconscious. The story ends with Yuri's return to Resch's office to meet the advisor, Cole, trying to run away with the go bag and money that Oreski had packed at the beginning and had been confiscated by Resch. Yuri ends Cole and takes the bag away. Julia and Lino return towing Oreski in the truck he was unconscious in, and finally, Stella and her son were released from police detention after being suspected to be accomplices in Oreski's crimes. Thanks for watching this amazing movie recap. If you did enjoy this story, please like and subscribe and let me know what movie I should recap next.